give you the benefit of my sort of knowledge on the editing software, pass it on to you, and hopefully you can go ahead yourselves and get involved in your own projects and I don't know, maybe get some work in in the industry yourselves.
Well, so then let me help you out there, James. Yeah. So pretty much, let me just ask you some questions about how you got started. So pretty much, you went to school, I presume, yeah?
Yeah, I did a degree. I did a degree in politics. Academic degree at the time. Nothing to do with media, nothing to do with technology, anything like that. And then essentially self-taught. I sort of changed my ideas once I realised the academic degree wasn't what I wanted. I went into a different career and started making cups of tea in London and learning, teaching myself video editing software basically.
Alright, so were you making a cup of tea for a production company or?
It was a post-production facility basically that had 22 suites, 20 video, 2 audio. I just I started working there and
did you get that from work experience? Or?
No, just off the internet, just found it, applied and got it basically. It's the sort of job that's like, high turnover sort of thing, quite easy to come by but hard to stick with.
What kind of work were they doing? I mean, like as far as content, what were they delivering?
Yeah, broadcast for Sky, BBC, Channel 4, that sort of thing. A lot of variety of output basically, from say Darren Brown to Great British Menu, sort of cooking shows basically, that sort of thing.
So what was the advertisement for?
For a runner, basically. Most people's jobs start with, you start as a runner, whether you've been to university and got a degree, even if you've got a master's in, broadcast technology, you will start as a runner.
Pretty much they don't care what you did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's what
they just need to run, right?
Yeah, exactly. An academic course can only teach you sort of the ins and the outs. It can't teach you how that applies in the real world.
So, just say a little bit about runner. I mean, did you have a fee or were you a free runner?
No, you contracted, but you basically, they're contractually obliged to pay you minimum wage. That's it, you work a minimum wage job.
Come on, tell us what's minimum wage, so that way people.
Well, when I did it, this is like, I don't know, about 6-7 years ago. I used about 11 grand a year in London. Basically.
11 grand a year sounds like a lot of money, though, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
So, all right,
especially not in London, yeah.
Yeah. So, as a runner, were you working in the post-production department, or were you just making tea for everybody?
Everywhere, a bit of everything, really. A bit of everything. You had to get lunches, make teas, but then you get out what you put in. You know what I mean? So when I didn't have stuff like that to do, you go and find somebody doing something, and you watch over their shoulder. You say, what are you doing there? What are you doing there? What's that? And then obviously £11,000 in London, you've got a lot of time to not go out and not spend money, so you stay at work late and befriend the edit assistants and
Now James, don't shy away from this. This is very important because most people understand that, alright Joe, most people understand that what happens is, let's say if you here in the Northwest or Northwest Vision, they have that BBC talent scheme and stuff, and they're always looking for the young, students and stuff, and they ask you to work for BBC. Hey! And then all you end up doing is making tea. Now, you could continue to make tea for the rest of your life, or till that strand runs out, or you could befriend, as you say, the editor and all that other kind of stuff. Sure. So, how important is your personality with the people that you're working with?
Yeah, massively, I guess. I mean, in a way, I suppose it shouldn't be. It should be enough just to be good at what you're doing and stuff, but it's not. I suppose a lot of people have to think, well, brutally honest, do I want to spend 9 hours sat in an edit suite with this guy, basically, you know what I mean? If you can't hold a conversation, or if you're quite an abrasive person, then you just won't get the work. Especially freelance as well, you know what I mean? People don't have to hire you, and if they don't like you, they won't. It's a bit, like I say, it's brutal because there is no defined career path or structure. You can't do this exam, that exam, and then say, okay, I've earned my right to do this. All you can do is get your skill set together and then await an opportunity to demonstrate that when it's happened. And then, but there's still no guarantee, even if you show it and you nail it, you just have to.
But it worked for you.
Combination of both, exactly.
What was the system 6 years ago? Just give us an idea of how they changed. What system that you started out working on and learning?
No, it was still average, but I mean, it was just an earlier version.
Yeah, but there was Avid Adrenaline, Avid Symphony, you know what I mean? It changes, the name changes, but as you say, is it still the same?
The core of the application is the same. You know, the Symphony, the Nitrous, you know, Media Composer,
Run it down, man, run it down, sure.
It's just basically like the feature set of that. You know, Symphony and Nitrous is meant for the high-end finishing. It's more on colour correction, online, you know, polishing work. Express and Media Composer more for the craft editing side. You know, building your story, building your film, whatever, and then you move it on to somewhere else to polish it off and make it broadcast legal, all that sort of thing. You know, it's the different flavours of the same tool, if you will, sort of thing, basically.
Okay, so now that you're working in the BBC, I mean, how did you go from just befriending the editor to working in the editing department, and how many people were in that department?
I'd say that was somebody left, and it was literally, there was a hole in the shift, and they were like, can you fill this? Can you fill this?
Because they know you.
Yeah,
why you
exactly.
actually kind of like put the job out.
Yeah, exactly.
So you had to be there.
I was there for about 9 months to a year before, you know, making cups of tea and that before.
It doesn't happen so fast, does it? Does it? Seriously?
Certainly.
Not
that was considered fast, to be fair. 9 months was alright. You know, people there. I mean, when I first started, my background was in audio and recording techniques and stuff like that. Now I moved to a company that had like 20 video suites and 2 audio suites. And I just thought, if it's a numbers game for getting work, I'm going to have to learn the video side, just because that's obviously where there's going to be more work, basically. So there were guys working audio who'd been there 3-4 years and still not got, still not progressed, I guess. So that was actually quite, considered relatively fast or whatever, because it was only a team of 5 people, 6 people, basically working all the shifts. So it's not a huge amount of, it's not good numbers really, it's not great odds sort of thing.
So how important is it to learn everything and to be kind of like, skill set in everything?
You can't learn everything, you simply can't. You just
can't, but
you can try, but honestly, there's aspects of Avid that I don't know, that I don't use, that I don't need to know, because it's such a complex program, and most of these packages are so complex. It'd be great to have every skill set nailed. I'd love to, and that's, in a way, that's why I enjoy it, because you're always learning. There's always something you could know more and be better at. But I'd say every day, I suppose, even now, I've been using it 5-6 years almost daily. You still find out how much you don't know. To a degree, it's a massive subject, and most employers want you to, for them it's better value if they have an employee who has 3-4 core skills, Photoshop, Avid, Final Cut, After Effects. If you can know all these, some employers are going to be so much happier than if they have to employ 4 different people for that. But I believe you can make a career out of just nailing one of those. Actually, I particularly enjoy grading, colour correction, that sort of thing. So I quite like looking into that. A lot of other people prefer just the pure craft editing, just making the story. Whereas and the other way, I like the overall look and style of the project.
Well, when it comes down to the team in the editing department that works in the television, which is on average here, but also even in film. Now I'm pretty sure some of the people here are filmmakers, where they are their own editor, right? And everything, so they probably get, everybody to work around them, and then they have to edit by themselves. On average, like when you said about, color correcting and logging even, how many people and what do they do and then edit to make, say, one show?
Oh, it depends on the nature of the show, but you'd be surprised. The teams can be quite big. I suppose we've got 3 or 4, we'll go out and shoot, but then, for instance, for like a 1-hour show, we would be bringing in 20 hours of footage. There's no way you can know exactly what is in all that 20 hours. Is this a live show or a drama? This is like a factual documentary sort of show, basically. So yeah, you've got 20 odd hours of footage. It's got like 4 contributors each sort of speaking, and then you need to collate everything they've they've said and put it into one coherent piece. So you've got a team of say 5 or 6 people. This is for like a 30-part episode, 30 episode series. You got like 8 people logging it, writing down everything you said. Then about 3 or 4 producers going through everything, just like right, we'll take that, we'll take that, we'll take that. And then you've got a team of, well, I mean, we had sort of 6 editors and 3 producers working across each edit.
To create one.
This is to create the 30, so you take 5 on each, basically. But yeah, so the one editor would have, say, 12, 13 full days in order to put together one show. And now when you think your running time is 47 minutes, that's a lot of man hours and a lot of, a lot of effort just to get a 47-minute sort of piece, basically.
Well, when we talked before, because like some of the things you work on now is like Match of the Day, and we talked about like pretty much live editing. Yeah. So to kind of accomplish, let's say like a montage, like in a sports show where they want you to cut to the highlights, or it could even be as something as named as Big Brother. Like when they come out and they have to put together really quickly a clip. And you was talking about that was a whole different system.
Yeah. And
everything like that. Could you just say a little bit about live editing in that aspect?
For sure. I mean, we basically, in the case of Match of the Day, you take a feed from the trucks at the ground, and it's sent over what's called an airspeed, and so 3 seconds after it's actually happened, it's in your suite and it's ready to go for you to edit with, basically. And it's just a case of constantly building up, against sort of you transmitting at 10:30 once the match is finished at about 5ish, or sort of thing. It's kind of an exercise in diligence where you just have to be more fast and accurate rather than creative. But that's the nature of just a match edit. Something like a montage or whatever is a completely different. The Avid is not the preferred tool for that, because Avid is more for sort of taking your time to construct something. It's a different system called EVS, which is basically more geared towards just grabbing that clip, and just putting it quickly together to music, whooshy effects, and then move on, sort of thing. And it's, like I said, it's quicker,
and all over
different style of editing. Yeah, exactly. Different style of editing, and it works in a different way. Whereas with Avid, if you want to make a big effects-heavy sort of sequence, you need to set it all up and then walk away for 2 hours while it renders and makes everything ready to go. Whereas these other systems don't do that. So it's all about the tools for the job, and EVS is more geared towards that, basically.
Pretty much as an editor, is that the editor becomes like the third director. I mean, like in that aspect, after the director shoots his film, gets all his coverage, then it's given over to the editor, and it doesn't matter what all the mistakes that happen on set. The actor didn't show up, or the light fell, or whatever, or something like that, and it comes to the editor to be put together. Yeah, I mean, in your opinion, I mean, what makes you know that you're an editor with that aspect as opposed to a director? I mean, sometimes some people may think they're a director, but they're an editor. So, and any qualities you kind of experience?
I mean, it depends. As a freelance editor, I feel it's important to know what does the producer director want from you? What sort of editor do they want? Because obviously, I can be the sort who is literally, I'm just the person who presses the button